Hello to my 21 subscribers. I actually had one of you reach out to me recently, and we scheduled a time to get on the phone. And when we spoke, he peppered me with a bunch of questions. He was similar to my age, but he was in school, and I'm a business owner, and I'm basically completely free. And so he was confused, and he was asking me a bunch of questions, and he was saying, how did I do this? How did I figure it out? He asked me if I came from money. I was like, well, that wasn't the case. My parents were immigrants from a third world country. We didn't have anything. So I figured all this out on my own, but specifically, I figured it out through mentorships. Alexander the Great has one of my favorite quotes. I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well. Everything that I know today is something that I learned from the men before me. We stand on the shoulders of giants. When I was 16, 17 years old, by pure happenstance, I discovered my very first mentor. He was a virtual mentor. You might have heard of him, Warren Buffett. Now, I'm a 16, 17-year-old kid, but all of a sudden came across his videos on YouTube and was obsessed. You know, there's this man that spits so much wisdom, it's unbelievable. And, sure, as a young man, I desired to be super wealthy. And for somebody that's at the top of the Forbes list, he's probably a great resource to listen to. So I just started diving into these books. I mean, this is a 700-page book of just basically fine print. But I started obsessing over this subject and I started learning how he thinks. At the end of the day, I figured, okay, he's achieved what I want to achieve in a huge way. He's been super successful. He probably knows a thing or two about how to replicate his success. Are my parents going to teach me? No. He is. Is school going to teach me? No. He is. And so as a young man, I started obsessing over this. And that's really where the genesis of my passion for business acquisitions, for business in general, growth, that's where it all started from. And I'm indebted to his teachings for where I'm at today. Now, how do I bring this to something more actionable? Well, I was about to turn 18, and I figured my career was going to open up for me. And as I made in a previous video, I ended up getting into sales. I figured, okay, Buffett taught me about how fantastic owning wonderful businesses are. Okay, but I need to make some money now. I'm a young man. I'm about to turn 18. I need capital so I can go out and buy companies. And with a Google search, I figured out that sales is the highest paid profession. It's actually the most common first job that all billionaires had. It wasn't an accident why I jumped into sales. And I jumped into it. But I didn't know how to sell anything. I mean, I could barely talk. This is where my second mentor came in. When I got hired at the company I ultimately worked at, I just looked around, found the number one producer, and copied him. Now, he probably didn't want me to, but I did it anyway. And he ultimately, great friends with him to this day, he became my mentor in sales. He taught me how to sell. They actually would joke around that I was basically a copy of this man. I'd follow him like the tail on a dog. But I not only did I model him for success, but I didn't look at any of my other coworkers because dipshitness rubs off. I didn't want, I was getting into a new environment, new career. I wanted to form the best of best habits. So I went out and found the best person I can. And he taught me how to sell. He taught me how to do a proper discovery, find out what are the buying motives of somebody, how to pitch something, how to craft a sale. He taught me. And ultimately, I did fairly well in sales. Obviously, you copy the number one producer, you're probably going to perform pretty well. From there, my life, I ended up getting into real estate. Same thing. I didn't know anything about real estate. I never owned a rental property, never managed one, don't even know how to find a tenant. What did I do? I found somebody that owned an 8-figure portfolio of real estate. He was super successful on his own. And I was able to convince him to do a deal with me. And so we ended up doing several deals together. But we partnered. And from day one, I knew nothing about real estate, but I was partnered with somebody that's been there and done that and is successful. And I was successful on our first deal and the second and the third. So he taught me. He had knowledge and experience that I didn't have. Now, if you actually do a deal with somebody, not just a mentorship, but they're actually invested with you, you also have instant track record and success. So when we went out and did a deal, well, his track record became mine. So when people ask me, well, you have any experience in this? Well, yeah, my business partner does. And I was able to lean on him. And now we did a deal, we did 2 deals, we did 3 deals. I was able to learn I could do it on my own. From residential real estate, I decided to get into commercial real estate. I lived in Arizona. I figured, okay, what's a good multifamily? If I'm in Arizona, we got a lot of seniors, senior housing. Same thing. I went out and found people that have owned, managed, run big, successful assisted living companies. Same thing happened. We went out, bought an assisted living facility. I could barely spell assisted living. And we own a company. I own it to this day. It's profitable. It's what retired me, really. But I was able to lean on my mentors for that. I still don't know anything about how to run that business, but I've been able to leverage off of the skills of others, which is just absolutely fantastic. And now with the next phase of my career, with home services, I'm looking at plumbing and HVAC companies. That's what I'm in. I could spell HVAC. But again, I have no background in this industry. Now you could ask yourself, how am I investing or buying companies in an industry that I have known nothing about? It's easy. I'm finding people that do know, finding people that have that experience. And so if you're starting to understand how my brain works, I figure out, what do I want in life? What turns me on? What do I have passion for? And who exists? Who's out there that has achieved that success in a huge, meaningful way? If your goal in life is to be a millionaire, don't go out and find somebody that's, made $2-3 million. Go out and find somebody that's made 100 million. Go out and find somebody who's been successful in a geometric way. Model them, copy them. In order to scale the mountain of success, you need an experienced guide. Are you going to go out and climb Mount Everest by yourself? No. You're going to have one of the Sherpas take you, right? Because they've been there and done that. They were taught, and they'll teach you. And so ultimately, I haven't been able to do anything. I wouldn't have been able to do anything that I did in my life if it wasn't for other people. Hence, I'm indebted to my father for living, but to my teachers for living well. They have a whole slew of benefits. Obviously, if your goal, and it doesn't have to be all business, if your goal in life is to be a world-renowned chef, go out and find the best culinary chef that you can find, somebody that has Michelin stars. Bug the hell out of them until they teach you. Do whatever you got to do to win their favor, and have them mentor you. If you want to be the best school teacher in the world, go out and find the teacher or professor that you respect the most, that is the most engaging. Learn from them. Whatever it is you want in life, just figure out what you want, because that's the first part of the problem. If you don't know where you're going to go, any road will take you there. So figure out what you want first. Then find somebody who's actually achieved that. They'll show you how to get there. The problem is not how to get there. You got to figure out where you want to go and find somebody who's done that, and the rest is history. Plus, to give you objective perspective, I look at deals today, plumbing and HVAC companies, where I'll get so enamored. Oh God, I got to buy this company. Oh, it's fantastic. It's so profitable, all this. And I bring it back to my team and they say, what the hell is this? You're not thinking about this, or this. They give me experience that I'm not thinking of because they've burned their hand on the stove. I haven't. So, I could go out and learn by trial and error, by making a mistake and learning, or I could learn over time. That takes too long. Or these guys, you find mentors. Well, they've been there and done that. They've made mistakes. They've burned their hand on the stove, so to speak, and they'll be able to teach you what not to do. They give you track record and credibility, and they help you with problems. If you have problems, you know how many problems I encounter every day with work? I call my partners, and they walk me through it. It's unbelievable. It's like a cheat code to life. Literally, if your goal is to do X, go out and find somebody who's achieved 10X and copy it. It's unbelievable. There's really nothing. This should be the only video on this YouTube channel. If your goal in life is to do whatever it is you want to do, find somebody. And they're on the internet. If you don't know somebody personally, LinkedIn is a great tool. It's actually probably the best. There's organizations called SCORE, where it's just a group of mentors, and for free, you could go plug your information in and find a mentor that suits what you're looking for. Well, let's say you wanted to get into real estate investing, which is the most brain dead way to make money in life. Let's say you want to get into real estate. Go on LinkedIn, make a LinkedIn profile, pay $100 a month for a sales navigator, and go out and search for real estate investors and just start messaging them. You will get responses. They're there to do business. They're going to contact you. And so I've used that to my advantage. If I want to go out and let's say I want to go out and buy a nail salon. I have no interest in doing that. But to me, it's pretty easy what I would do. I would go out and find somebody that owns a bunch of nail salons and is super successful and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to buy this. I'm wondering if you could teach me. I'll pay you. I'll compensate you. Maybe I'll give you part of the deal, whatever the case is. But I'll go out and find somebody who's been there and done that. Then from day one, I have that experience. And so the whole point of this video, go out and find a mentor. You need it. You can't live without it. Now, unless your father happens to be Elon Musk or your mother's Oprah Winfrey, maybe you don't need a mentor. But by the way, for the longest time, Bill Gates, who was the richest man on the planet for many years, his mentor was Warren Buffett, who was the second richest man for many years. Now, obviously, the Forbes list has changed since then. But if the richest man in the world had a mentor, what does it tell you?